then my task was not to come up with new principles that had never been said before, but to express them in a way that made the most sense for the American tone and spirit of the occasion. And that is what drew me into that statement, which I have heard many times since repeated, that all men are created equal.
You were talking about family, and that got me thinking of my own family. We had a great time in the White House. This may come as a surprise to you gentlemen. But
the White House, what?
Oh,
I'm not certain what that means.
You know it as the executive mansion.
Oh.
But I was sitting in the executive mansion, and there was a piece of paper, and I said, the White House would be a good title for this, and by golly, that's what I put down, and ever since then, it's, as far as I know, unless they've changed it since then, it's now the White House.
I can make one comment, sir. I did have the opportunity to live in the executive mansion.
Yes.
And I received much criticism. I remember one of the correspondents said there was no purpose in having a mansion of that size, as it could hold two emperors, Dalai Lama, and the Pope, and he saw it a waste of money.
May I have a follow-up question? You mentioned a war. Okay. Were we at war with France, or was it Britain?
Oh dear, no, much worse.
What could be worse?
With ourselves, over slavery. For some 30 years prior to my administration, there was a growing movement among the slave-owning states to secure that peculiar institution in perpetuity.
We thought during the Constitutional Convention that it was just a matter of time that slavery would no longer be part of our economy, part of our country. When we came to the issue of slavery, we knew that we could not get a constitution if we didn't soft pedal the slavery issue, because the South said that they would not be part of a constitution, a federal constitution. So we felt as though it's just a matter of time, and it will go out on its own. Oh my gosh.
That's what I thought most of my life.
Well, the really sad things is it pitted brother against brother.
Oh my, yes.
The families were divided. My own family, my father, the Roosevelts, they were true New York Yankees, and they supported the Republican Party by then, and Mr. Lincoln. Well, my mother's family, the Bullocks, they were Georgians, and they were Georgians to the core.
Wow.
And so when Georgia seceded, or tried to secede, they supported the Georgians, because I had uncles who fought for the southern states. And so the families, it was remarkable that families could stay together at all.
At the time of this, when this war broke out, approximately 3/4 of our national economy was in one way or another related to slavery.
Oh my gosh.
I was from Illinois, and about that same percentage of our banks closed upon my election, because they had loaned money to Southern planters, and because the Southern planters had decided to secede with their state, they were not obligated to repay these loans, so the banks had no capital. Our financial system was in absolute disarray as well, because of another president who had destroyed the national bank.
Obviously, things changed after our great Civil War, and we had our own problems during my presidency. And one of them was the advancement, the growth, the influence of political parties, which you warned against. And so we had to go out as presidents. We had to go out, modern presidents, go out and seek votes by the people. We had to go out.
You sought votes, sir?
Absolutely. And I know this was something that would be a shock to you, but the strength of the political system in our states was such that if you wanted to be president, and every man who ran wanted to be president,
Excuse me,
I know I did.
You ran?
President.
We
Yes,
stood
we ran.
for election.
We ran. One of the grand things about our country is that the rest of the world could see who we were and where we hoped to go. And they wanted to be a part of that. They were tired of the old arguments, the old classes that were set up. They were tired of not being able to dream about a better life and then to reach out and do that. They wanted to be in a place where a man could pull himself up by his own bootstraps and he would be rewarded for his own efforts.
Right.
And we were the country that could offer that.
That is
It
encouraging.
reminds me of a story. I recall coming back from France, and I would get asked questions as I was a minister plenipotentiary, first under Jay. In any case, I would go to the various activities, and many people said, "Did you meet the kings? Did you meet the earls and dukes?" And I said, in all honesty, there are very few among that class who would be elected a vestryman at any one of our churches.
Well, he's not wrong.
In my last years, I have been dealing with trying to ameliorate the very situation you've described. And one of the first things I did after I wrote the actual Declaration of Independence in '76 was to return to the General Assembly of Virginia and submit a series of bills for their consideration, as it was the seed time for our new republic. And one of them was for the diffusion of knowledge among our people. As you well remember, education was a responsibility of the parent and the church. And I thought that the state should have some degree of responsibility for educating the young.
I'm optimistic as an American. I've always been this way, and I shall probably always be that way. But I've also been pragmatic on most things. And I sadly think that we are not the equal of our founding fathers.
We, the people, we really meant it. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, we said this is what we wanted to do through this document. But when it was all said and done, we also, and when we signed that and we're ready to put it out for the states to ratify and, debate and then ratify, the opinion of the men there was this is a governing document, but if the virtue of the people ever faltered, the document would fail, and the form of government that the document supported, a democratic republic, would fail.